ese gato se va. Sáquenme la botella que funda pa' gastarle. Esta noche tú y yo nos vivimos la película. Luce cámara, la acción, después en mi recámara. En el duelo no se sabe quién ganará. So baile, baby, ese booty retrocede. Que me encanta la manera en que tú lo mueves.
Solo pégate un poquito, mami, que yo quiero enseñarte lo que yo tengo para ti. Lo que tengo para ti. Sé que te va a encantar como me yo.
That's right.
What is going on, Cowboy Nation? Welcome back to Primetime Studios. Like always, I'm your host, Primetime Phil. And actually, not like a lot of the YouTubers right now. I'm actually kind of, my mood is not extremely down. You know, when your parents, when you're going home and you're in trouble and you had to get home and you're going to get your ass whooped, and all of a sudden you come through the door and your parents whoop your ass, and it wasn't as bad because you anticipated a little bit. And I think that's how my feeling is. It's a little different when they sneak that ass whooping up on you, but nonetheless, it's a butt whooping to nothing the same. And one guy that's been whooping a lot of ass on YouTube and definitely telling other content creators how it is, even though we are doing bad. Yes, we saw this shit coming. It's not a surprise. Gametime, welcome, sir.
Oh, Primetime Phil, please tell me I'm having a nightmare. Please tell me that what I suggested at the beginning of the season, everybody, I had us going 3-4 in the first 7.
Yep.
Go back and check my video. Now, I want to stop it there because
Still
it gets
pisses me
better
off.
in my video. I don't know that it's going to get better in the actual reality.
I
but
think
that being said,
yeah, this is where I
I'm
start
with
to
Phil.
this is where I start to look at it and go, okay, this is that tough part where I saw. Now here's the up part where
Well,
things should to get
yeah.
better.
But
and
it's not.
It's
because
well,
we play first place teams now.
yeah, that's true.
We play Atlanta, first place.
First
we
place.
play Houston at home, first
Yeah.
place. Then we get a break and we play the second place Eagles, who might be in first place by then. And then we got to go on the road and play Washington, first place. So, again, it doesn't get any easier.
It doesn't get easier, but at the same time, I see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it's a long ass season, guys.
We're
It's
dying.
Yeah,
Phil.
well,
We're all
yeah.
dying.
Well, we all got hit by a freaking train, and over and over and over and over again. And if it wasn't for the off-season train and for that preseason train, and then the offense not getting their shit together, the quarterback with a lot of money, CeeDee Lamb not rusty, so it's like, you know, give us some kind of storyline to run with it. But no, man, we got 1,000.
It is, everybody. I don't know why it is, but Phil makes me. I don't know what the word is, but he makes me happy. He doesn't, I don't mean that in a weird way. I just mean we see the forest through the trees. You know what I'm saying? We kind of knew that we weren't going to the Super Bowl. Everybody needs to check themselves right now because we all knew that this wasn't a super team, but we want to get lightning in the bottle, right? Get into the playoffs. And guess what, people? That's still on the table.
That's still on.
Until we're dead.
Yeah.
We're dead. But, at the worst case, Phil, it blows up, meaning we have a bad record. And then what happens?
We get a great draft. We get a great draft.
So,
and guess what? Because they do not trade their picks away, you don't have to worry about some other team holding your first-round draft pick or whatever like that. But yeah, that's the bright side if you have a gloomy weather. But honestly, this is the weather that we predicted. We're actually those meteorologists that said, hey, on this day it's going to rain, and this day it's going to pour, and this day it's going to look sunny. But don't let them fool you because it's going to be fog later and shit. Like, so.
We get caught up in the week-to-week stuff, We get caught up in, the ebb and flow. But at the end of the day, people, I don't know what we really should have expected.
Yeah.
Am I upset?
Hell yeah. You don't like seeing your team play like
That's why
that.
we call it a first place schedule. I get you, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but sometimes it don't always work out that way. But in this case, it did. So I'm not a fan of the schedule.
And here's the thing is, if we had Micah, if we had all these other guys, I think this game plays out a lot differently.
Well,
but this is the reason why I predicted what was gonna happen. We're going to come back from behind. We're going to lose by a touchdown. We were right there.
10 points at halftime, Phil,
Dude,
at least.
There was a lot of stuff left on the table, or left on the field, or left on the bone. I don't know what the hell you want,
If
analysts.
you're the defense, I'm looking at the offense saying we held them to 6 points at halftime.
Yeah,
And
straight
all
up.
you could do
And
was
they were
10.
driving. They put in
Yes.
one time. I think a point one
Yes.
time. So it's like they were driving. I mean,
What's
so
up, Mike?
so to hold them in that first part, I was so amazed. And the fact that we were up, I was surprised by that because I honestly thought we were going to be down by like 17 points by going into half. We were down eventually by that 17 points. What's that?
You know what you're getting. Well, you're getting a lot of, it didn't matter because when you had your players, you still sucked. Well, and the bottom line is, you give me Micah, you give me D-Law, you give me Brandon Cooks, you give me Sam Williams, you give me Jordan Phillips, you give me Deron Bland, you give me Kalen Carson. You give me the majority of those guys for any one of these games, we're probably a game better.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we're
I
all
would
sitting
agree.
there going, okay, we're fine.
Yeah,
we're
exactly.
right there.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not using injuries as an excuse because I didn't have them going to the Super Bowl. Everybody, what's up, Arturo? Never did. What's up, Twiz? Never had them going to the Super Bowl. It was always going to be just get in, and how are you playing when you get there? We may not get in, and you know what? If that happens, then redraft good because I know in the back of my mind there's one winner, and we're not that good right now. For a myriad of reasons, we're not. Can we get hot? Yeah, anybody can get hot. Anybody can. You saw what happened yesterday, Phil. Cleveland Browns had a change of a quarterback, Jameis Winston. He will come back to earth.
Dude,
people.
okay, but here's the thing is, Jameis Winston in 2 plays, the last 2 plays of Jameis Winston, that is Jameis Winston. He almost threw a game-ending interception, but the safety drops it. It is in his chest. He fumbles it for a bit, and then he drops it. The next exact play, he drops a bomb for a touchdown. That is Jameis Winston, and that's the reason why the Bucs could not win a championship with him. But that's obviously way better than what Watson was doing, and I got to give... it sucks that injury is what caused it, but they should have made this decision a long-ass time ago. Let's be real.
Yeah, and I'm actually happy. I'm not upset. I mean, not happy, but I'm actually in a good mindset, and it's only because we do have talent on the team.
We do.
Again, it's
young talent.
It's one of those deals where you take your lumps. I'm excited for the unknown. So to speak. I'm excited for a possible coaching change in the offseason.
Well, when I look at this team, it reminds me of 2015. Like you don't have stuff there, and you're going to probably not do great by the end of the season. I don't know. To me, you're still a playoff team because of injuries and things that can happen to other teams. And, when you really look at it, I think we can get in there. If you can't get in as that wild card spot, you're going to need to figure it out because I think, when you look at that North, you got the Vikings. Are they going to slow down at any point? They could be one of the wild card teams if they don't win their division. You got the Packers. If they don't win their division because of Detroit, they could be the other wild card team. So if we do not get up there, we could easily be not getting into the wild card rounds because everybody else made it and we kind of were sitting in the outside looking in. Could possibly make that 7th one, but you're going to still have to battle other teams. Like right now, Chicago is a terrible team, but their record is still better than what ours is.
Yes, actually, watching that game yesterday between Chicago,
dude,
and
that was the luckiest
was very
shit.
Exciting game.
Good for them. I was happy for them. It wasn't. I have no animosity towards them.
No, not at all.
And good for them to have a young guy. I don't like the whole chanting after their, with their crowd. Like, come on, like even with our down years, this is still your comparison to us is where you rank yourself. I don't get that.
Why would they say?
No, there was a lot of chanting of how they wanted Dallas. After the game.
Dallas.
Yeah, they did that whole thing with the game. It's like, dude, like really?
Again,
that's
why everybody hates Dallas, and I got to deal with all these negative comments after a loss instead of just taking the high road and going, "Yo, tough one, game time." No, you weren't that good.
It'd be
anyway.
different.
It's like, shut the fuck up, man. You guys crack me up. Just take the high road. That's all. Can you take the high road? But now you see. Now we got Louis T. I was on NFC East Super Friends, and he's talking about Jaden Daniels is that guy. Now, I love Jaden Daniels, but he is a rookie people.
Yeah, a little ass
you don't know
skinny
how it's
rookie
going to turn out.
Yeah. Well, then the fact that like he likes to run, he's skinny as hell. Like a lot of it,
he's skinny. As hell.
He's got
thing.
hit. He gets hit a lot, and he gets hit hard.
Louis T's like, oh, he don't get hit. I'm like,
Yeah,
Louis,
he get.
ain't gonna last in the league.
I could show you a shitload of LSU tape where he is just getting laid out, and I got to give him. And I got to give him some credit for toughness, but you can't do that in the NFL, man. And as skinny as you are, but at the
you know who else came in like this? RG3. Oh, he ain't no RG3. I'm like, I'm not saying he was. Me and Phil loved Jaden Daniels.
But the thing about it is you can't sit there and flex when he's the freaking Heisman Trophy winner and the second pick of the draft. It's like, if you picked him in the third or fourth round, then freaking brag all you want. But it's
you did what you were supposed
to
do.
It's like sitting on the toilet and peeing and being like, I didn't make a mess. Well, congratulations, dude. You were sitting point blank.
Knicks, where he wasn't necessarily the projection was all over the place. I don't know.
No, I thought he was very pro-ready.
I know you did, and I trust Sean Payton.
I'm the quarterback whisperer.
We forget that Sean Payton.
I know. I hate Sean Payton, but he's a quarterback guy. He is.
Yeah, I'm not a Sean Payton guy necessarily, but he's the one that played for Eastern Illinois and found Tony Romo.
That's true.
Dallas did everything they could to not keep Romo.
Oh, they tried.
They exposed him. They ended up paying him a lot of money to come.
There's my boy. Yeppy, what's going on, sir? Are you in Denmark? Where are you located right now, man? I'm interested. Yeah, he was talking that trash after that Detroit game.
But so again, I'm not that upset. Me and Phil and Mark, yes, I talked to Mark this morning. We are embarking on Dallas. We're gonna have a great time. Again, and before we get into the numbers of this particular game here.
Living in Germany, yeah. Look at that. Nice.
Live in Germany. Oh, I love it.
Nice. Yeah, have you been to any of those NFL games that have come on over there? I think there was one last year, right? There was a one last year.
Yeah,
I don't know if you were. I don't know if you were there last year because he's a pilot and everything. So I don't know if he's ends up stationed somewhere else and stuff.
Arturo, just remember this: need a new head coach, need a new coaching staff, a general manager. We're not going to get which we're not going to get. Again, the general manager does a lot of what the coach wants. That's why I think that McCarthy's time needs to go.
It needs to go. Yeah,
There's nothing wrong with that.
And I was on the McCarthy bandwagon prior to the season, but he has shown me nothing in this season that says that he should stay. Yes, your record is what it is, and I got to give you credit. That's amazing, and you changed that culture, but it only goes so far, especially when you can't put up on big games.
Well, that's the thing, Dak Prescott, when he was a rookie, everybody forgets. Everybody's talking about Jaden Daniels and this. Dak he won his first 10 games as a rookie.
Yep,
I'm hearing myself again.
Sorry.
But anyway, he won his first 10 games as a rookie. And those are the types of times where you got to take advantage, right? Mm-hmm. I look back at that time as a missed opportunity to put Tony Romo back in the game, knowing the history that we now have, that he never got past the second round. So, again, I'm only bringing that up because Dak has played underwhelming so far this year. He just has. And people are like, oh, you're stuck with Dak. You can get out of the contract after 2 years. There's nobody that you're going to bring in right now. He's not holding you back, but he ain't helping you either. No. And he's not doing things right now to win you a game. He's actually, Phil, Dak Prescott is one INT away from last year's total. He already has 8.
They've been bad. There were some really bad ones. There was one where you're like, okay, but it's just some of those ones I question as a quarterback as well, too. When I look at the defensive line play and how they were pressuring Goldston, I'm very not impressed with him. They were doing
out, Sugar Daddy.
They were doing some stunts and everything like that, but the stunts weren't really working because they were allowing those edges to become open and stuff. So it just it was really hard to watch that game and then have to rewatch it to kind of really see what was going on. It's never fun to watch. At least they put up a fight towards the end. I said they were going to be losing by a touchdown. I kind of had that with just, again, whether they came in there with the actual game plan. I just think at some point the talent was going to lose you that game. And when you're running in there with fourth and fifth string guys and deep in the cornerbacks where you're trying to bring people in, it's a recipe for disaster. Especially when you can't get, you at least need the game plan to be right to kind of oversee all those shadows that you have, but now that wasn't anything, it's not a spotlight on anything. It was actually a burden, and I think that's where McCarthy, I say that was his benefit, right? He didn't have clock management. He doesn't, since he has been part of this team, yes, our first rounds and stuff have been there, and we've hit some strikes with later on, but a core of those guys have not stayed on this roster. Where, when we're talking about, the draft picks in recent years, well, yeah, that's McCarthy's guys. There's a lot of those were McCarthy's guys, whether they're Dan Quinn, allowing Dan Quinn to do shit. He was still, a lot of that was under his realm. So that's where I'm with you now, Brian, in the sense that I'm ready for the next coaching staff and whoever we bring in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just ready to move on.
I think he's a great coach. I think if you give him enough time anywhere, he would be. But when you look at his tenure in Green Bay, I mean, how many years was he there for one Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think nowadays with these players, the Mike Tomlin situation is not normal, people. Mm-hmm. And all due respect to Tomlin, what has he done lately, right? So again, I think you need to be constantly looking. As fast as these rosters are turned over, you have to constantly be looking for that next guy. I don't know if they'll go with that. Was it Ben Johnson out of Detroit or whatever the hell his name is, the offensive coordinator from Detroit? And I would not be opposed to Belichick in a few ways, but I would, more importantly, I think we would need to get an offensive type mind. But I still stick to my guns that defense wins championships, and you need a competent, young, smart mind as an offensive coordinator. Yeah,
you need somebody else to come in there because,
it'll be interesting.
Mr. Hansen over here says, "Do you think Dak is part of the problem?" I don't think so. I think right now this play calling and all this stuff is kind of, and the talent that's not around him. I think that's kind of weighing on him, where the sense that they're not putting him in a position to win, and but if you get the right chemistry in here, I think there's so many more gaping holes in this whole team that you have to plug in first before you start worrying about, the quarterback is that. Well, we got paid 60. We have to pay him 60. Next year's 40. All these numbers. So the next 2 to 3 years, I'm not really concerned about too much on that part, unless you can't win. I mean, and then that just basically becomes the next contract, right? We're ready to get out of that contract. We're ready to move on, and I think by that point, he's proven he can't push us past that. I think in that sense, when we're ready to have that, where that dead money and getting rid of him equals out correctly, I think by that point you can really get a sense of, okay, who is this guy as a quarterback? Could he lead us? Right. Could he be like? Unfortunately, I use this now. Aaron Rodgers doesn't seem to be that guy anymore. But remember Aaron, where he had those bad teams, weren't great around him, but he could still push them past that and get a victory. He's just not that. Is he a top 10 quarterback? I think in this league. I mean, that's 30 teams. I think he's there. Is it more recent? Hell no. But I don't think. I think it's just a really bad. I just really think it's really bad coaching. So. Yeah, I hear you. Swizz says you lost a bunch of depth guys and blew it off. Nobody blew it off, but we didn't expect to lose 5 of our top 5 defensive ends. Yeah, but those depth guys are also starters now somewhere. It's not. We would have lost those guys anyway.
We lost a lot of depth.
We lost a lot of depth.
That's what happens. I mean,
but now that depth, again, now the depth that we
had half of our guys, we would be fine.
But now the depth that we, but now the depth that we have
to win a Super Bowl, Twiz, but a game at least better in the standings. Again, I challenge anybody to go through what we've gone through. My issue is our quarterback is not bailing us out, winning us a game, doing nothing. I see Hamid's in rare form. Again, Hamid, just go back in the cave, bro. I mean, you pop out when this shit is is nice and comfy for you, bro.
I know exactly, and he wants to say that, but again, Micah
Mozzie
Parsons, I
actually
could
played
big
half
ass
decent.
numbers. These big players talking about big contracts with these guys, and you're like, oh, but if they're missing, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Talking about paying them the top at their position, but no, it doesn't matter if they sit on the sideline. Yeah, not at all. That is no excuse.
Yeah, listen.
So what I'm saying is, though, the depth that we replaced it with, okay, Armstrong, okay? Yeah, Armstrong became a hell of a pass rusher. Now he's over there doing that in Washington. But, Fowler, okay, Fowler was doing that in Atlanta. He came over there and started doing that
They're
stuff.
not, like, real excited about him in Washington.
Well, no. But let's be real. What he was doing here and now what another guy has to come in and learn in a season or two, like this is Armstrong by year, what? Year 4, 5, 6, 7?
Right.
Because we were re-signing him. Now you're taking these guys, they have to learn the depth. Now instead of learning, they have to be thrown in there and be the guy. And that's where a lot of them, I mean, they're going to have growing pains. And unfortunately, we're in a league where it really shows if you're having the growing pains, and people get very quick to try to get you out of there and never give you another chance in the NFL.
Yeah. Dak's decent. A QB
And you're right there, Oscar. I think
bad.
that's where it needs a focus. We need to focus on the defense. The defense wins championships.
What's up, Philly D?
If you can get everything on there with this offseason stuff, you need to focus on that defense. If they can keep in these struggling ass offense, because let's be real, we've seen this team with really powered, offensive linemen done great in the running game, but the defense at that some point was allowing 30-plus points in the playoffs, and they couldn't keep up. So, hey, if you switch it over, put the defense in there, we all love that, man. We all love defenses doing their thing, man, especially turnovers, getting these guys better opportunities. So, but again, it's going to have to be Jerry Jones with their not liking how the season's going to go. That's why a little part of me is like, okay, let it tank, because that's the only way you're going to wake his ass up.
Yeah, and I would imagine Jerry doesn't like change at his age, because change is scary to him because he may not be around.
Blue Virus.
What's up, Blue Virus? What's up, buddy? So that's what I would say. Who knows?
Hopefully.
The unknown is exciting to me, that's all. It could be bad, but I mean, unknown is exciting.
Yep,
Status quo is never good in the NFL. Even when you're doing good, you got to be able to turn over the right pieces from year to year. Even the good teams. It's just frustrating when you see the Niners go out and
here
Isaac Guerrero.
I think Twiz points it out here. He's like, I still understand your personnel moves. It's still a problem with running and stopping the run.
Yeah,
that was the problem, and they did nothing.
They
did nothing. Nothing. Oh, they'll bring Zeke back. I love it and everything, but
Phil, but that's where the game. Phil knows. Phil played the game at a high level. That's where the game is won and lost.
In the trenches.
Done.
In the trenches. Yeah, and we don't have a defensive tackle.
Look good,
and we need to be a better running game. Let's just be real. I don't know where it's at. You can blame it on the running backs, the things.
Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook didn't know the pass protection because he almost got Dak's head taken off.
I need him to be playing more to learn it. That's what.
Yeah, I know, but he's a veteran. You figure, okay, you slide and you pick up.
And you're right, Philly D. Steel is getting destroyed, and I think that's a big thing too. Like, it's and so.
Yeah, definitely.
So I do think it can get better. I think even with the competition that we're going to have, I've seen those teams play not at their best as well. But of course, the Cowboys are going to roll into town and they're going to give it their best. It's just whether the Cowboys can get out of this crap, because they say the right thing sometimes, but you can only say that so many times before you're repeating the same shit, and you yourself know that's got to change.
Yes. And I'm sitting there.
We are not
as
going.
You're talking.
We are not going, Oscar. Says Phil and Bryan are going to have a great time during the draft, all those picks and all that money.
No,
but we ain't going. That's a cold ass place.
We're not going to Green Bay. Even Ultra says, "Hell nah, no."
What's up,
man? What's up? But I'm looking at the total score here, and I'm looking at a quarter by quarter. I don't know exactly, but I'm going to round the number off. We are getting outscored in the third quarter, something like 69-19.
It's ridiculous.
In the third quarter.
It's ridiculous.
Like, what does that tell you? I told my son, I said, it's only 10-6 at halftime. I said, They're going to come down. They're going to make adjustments. They're going to go right down and make a touchdown. I said the key to this game is what we do on our possessions. We need to hold the ball, maybe get some first downs, even if you only get a field goal with that first drive in the third quarter. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. They get a 21 points. Game is just about over. Now, we did score 14 in the fourth, and they only scored 3. And then
it feels like this team's best work comes out when they're 20 points down plus.
Yeah, Dak shit the bed again in the fourth quarter against the 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that's
exactly what it was. That to me, when I saw it, I was like, yep, that was him. That was him. Yeah, I pointed out a lot of stuff. I can see, I'm not born, and it's not a dragging thing, but when you look at a lot of the film and stuff, you can point out with replays and how replay works. Man, you can see when people are holding, you can see when things are happening, and then you can just see when a quarterback just f's up or the accuracy's not there. I've seen some games where the quarterback comes out, like Baker Mayfield's game, like he was there, the plays were there, the guys were wide open, his throws were off. Your quarterback can be off. But those were bad decisions. Those were bad decisions. Those weren't bad throws.
A couple people are always like to troll CD. CD's a hell of a receiver. He's young. He's a little immature.
But it's okay.
Did you see some of the one-handed catches he had?
He had amazing.
The quarterback couldn't throw it over the right shoulder. Mm-hmm. I mean, Jesus. Sorry. Did you see that catch he made across the field when Dak threw it into coverage and he was going to get his head taken off?
And
he caught it, rolled. No, but I mean,
And Blue Vibes brings up and when Dak does throw a amazing ball, the wide receiver drops it. That's the shit that I'm talking about. The combination of you can't have it on the same play. Maybe a throw ball, bad throw, he drops it. No, that's the whole play.
We had a Devontae Smith opposite AJ Brown. He will catch that ball, everybody. I would even venture to guess that Brandon Cooks would have caught that ball. But Kevontae Turpin, he's one of those guys, everybody, that I would not be upset if he hit the road after this year.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The ball's too big for him. It's about as big as his head.
I was pissed at the start of the game. They didn't even kick the ball off, and we had a penalty. Our special teams were ridiculously bad and undisciplined yesterday, and we keep hearing about Bones Fossil. We had... Brandon Aubrey missing the landing zone. It was a comedy of errors, and yet we still had a chance to win. And our quarterback threw the ball away. Mm-hmm. And literally, literally. I want to get this out before I forget. My main issue, and I brought this up earlier. I brought this up last night. My main problem with Dak is there something going on with that foot that we don't know about? Now, I'm not saying
they're not.
Injured,
if they
so
do, yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I'm not
where he doesn't want to run, where he doesn't fucking.
Sorry, he does not run the ball.
Doesn't want to run.
And Brock Purdy had 58 yards rushing and was the Niners' leading rusher at one point, and he helped bail them out multiple times. You have to do that. Look around the league, Phil. You got Jaden Daniels. You got Jalen Hurts. You got all these guys who can.
Well, even Bo Nix and all them. You got Joe Burrow. You got a whole bunch of people that do it. I'm not saying do it to run. I'm saying every once in a while you gotta make that defense pay for dropping everybody, sticking in their zones. Make them pay. Make them have to suck up a little bit. But we don't. Dak, I guess he's talking to. The Peyton and Eli and say, yeah, don't run. Listen, you're not Peyton and Eli. That's the problem, exactly.
You threw it on the wrong effing shoulder, bro.
Yeah, that's the problem. It'd be different if you were an accurate pocket passer that was dime on, making great decisions and stuff like that. But you're not that guy. You need to open it up with your legs.
You're not that guy, pal.
You're not that
guy.
Well, I mean, let's be real. When he starts to run, it's like a train. It doesn't. And you're just like, go, damn it, go, man. And you're yelling at the TV
Brock
for him
Purdy,
to go.
8 carries for 56 yards, 7 points.
Yes, destroyed us. Destroyed us in the
yard
game.
Average.
Wait, the opposite guy who I thought was going to destroy us in the running game was not that guy, but they still destroyed us in the running game. And then Kettle, like,
Yeah.
of course, nobody can.
Well,
We don't have
Guerrero,
anybody.
14 for 85 at a 6.1 clip, and we did a good job in the first half. That's the thing.
did
But
great.
they're going to make adjustments, and that's why I say our quarterback didn't put enough points in the first half, didn't do shit in the second half. So very frustrating.
Yeah, Vinny.
Just looking at the time of possession here. Let me see here. Let me go up to the top. I'll get it. The team stats, because we didn't help out our defense. Time of possession, 33 to 26, basically.
But that was afterwards. I think that's the second half kind of thing, because that first half they seemed to dominate. We seemed to dominate the time of possession.
Well, they dominated because the total yards were 469 for San Fran to 292 for the Cowboys.
Yeah, Bob.
And more importantly, we lost the turnover battle 2-0. We are a -8 for the year. Not good. That's not good, people. That's not good. Sorry. We had 9 penalties.
No es bueno.
Or no, we had 6 penalties for 30 yards, 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions by our $60 million quarterback.
Clemente, because that's what McCarthy does, man. He abandons the run very quickly. He does. He abandons the run very quickly.
This is where the game was won, people. Niners, 223 yards rushing. Cowboys, 56. We only gave up 2 sacks. And, you're listening to the people I trust. Brian Broaddus said they were playing 6- and 7-man boxes. They were dropping people. So we couldn't run. We had a little bit of success early against the 6-man box. Yeah, but they never brought 8 men in the box, which that is normally where you can't run. We couldn't run on a 7-man box. That's a problem. Because that means they're dropping that extra defender in coverage, making it that much harder on your quarterback.
And that's what Dak has, that problem. He has the problem when the defensive line drops back.
Let's just say it.
Yes.
He needs a running game.
He needs a running game. He definitely does. That's why I can't put it all on him. If you give him the right tools and the right combination of stuff and actually balance it out,
yeah, there it is. You said a word I want to talk about. A combination. What do we see? We saw a lot of combination routes that worked, like trip, like bunch formations. There were guys running free for Dallas. Wow, it takes a bye week for you to come up with some of this shit. And they had a lot more success, like all teams do, like the Eagles do. That's how they scheme Brent Calcaterra or whatever the hell his name is, and he gets
crazy,
open
man.
all day. It's like you have to scheme it open.
Yeah.
No.
They're talking about the offensive line, how, Vinny was saying, heard they might trade Martin. And then Ultra was saying that BB and Guyton played well. I thought they played very well.
Well, Martin's retiring after the year.
Yeah,
so
I mean, you can
know.
try.
I don't know why they're. They're not moving Guyton. Actually, Guyton did not have a bad game yesterday, people.
Well, I like him out
That's the
there.
thing. Everybody wants to shit on the whole thing because you're a hater.
I think it's going to be eventually
That's
a
fine.
really good
Do your
spot
thing.
for him. I think it will. It's just, if you're going to put him on the right quickly. Don't do it later. That's why that's all I'm saying.
Steele's a problem right now.
Yeah, Steele's a big-ass problem.
An absolute mess.
Yeah.
So why, I don't know. I think I'm going to go with what me and Phil said in the preseason, everybody. I don't like the offensive line coach.
Yep.
Okay? There's a reason why in Philadelphia that Mekhi Becton, who was a stiff his whole career, goes to Philly and he's all pro. Why? Because you got a hell of an offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutland. That means something. We keep Mike McCarthy's hires suck ass, okay? Let me just tell you. Remember, he's the one that brought in Mike Nolan because he was from the good old boy group. I'm sorry, Mike. It's going to cost you your job. He didn't want no parts of Dan Quinn. None. And what happened? That was the best thing that happened to the Cowboys. And we basically turned our back. We expected more from Zimmer. But, again, I got to give it to my guy, Drew. He was right. We don't have the pieces to run Zimmer's defense. So, we're all it's
That's
a
why I'm
mess,
saying. That's why with
everybody.
me, I don't blame him too much. The
Bill
adjustments.
Callahan is very good. Yeah, he's the best, Ultra. We had him, and Jerry felt that he wasn't good enough.
I could not understand
and
that.
Fired his ass.
Yeah, that one got me. He won't come back either. He's got that sourness.
Yeah, I don't
blame him.
You blame him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
So
Jimmy
Bryan,
Johnson
so
said
Bryan
line coach
again,
is the most important.
there's a lot. There's a lot. First quarter, second quarter, we can go through this and probably go and bitch at everybody. But again, it wasn't anything that we didn't see coming. We did predict the loss. I see things getting a little bit brighter for them. Again, I don't see Super Bowl in our future, so don't get me quoting that kind of shit.
Yes.
But it's still a possibility for playoffs. But again, you got to get your shit together because that North is looking like they could be grabbing all those wild cards, and the only spot could be the 7th seed. And who are you going to be fighting with for that one in all those other divisions? Right. So I mean, and look at Philly. Philly's going up there high, so they could sneak up and grab that 7th one or 6th one or whatever like that. So those could be your 3. So again, if you don't sneak out of here in the next couple of weeks, definitely not setting yourselves up for later on in the season. Now, we saw definitely some collapses last year, but you can't rely on that all the time. So game time. Anything you want to say to the folks at home before we get out of here and kind of, again, by tomorrow I'm putting this behind us and going forward?
Yeah, I would say embrace what's about to happen, people. We got to get through it together. It is what it is. They have talent on this football team. Believe me when I tell you, they have a nice foundation to build from. They need some young speed. That's what they need. They need some speed added to that offense. They need a couple defensive studs to go along with Micah. That's what they need. But just this mainly, I'm just frustrated with the coaching staff. See, Ryan Flournoy.
I don't think
we
so.
kept hearing about Ryan Flournoy. He didn't get any opportunity. You know.
I thought Crosby.
Yeah, right.
Because he said Dan Campbell's hinting at a trade. Watch them get Reddick. I was thinking he was going to go out and get Crosby.
Yeah, well, the owner for the Raiders said Crosby's not on the market.
No, everybody's on the market.
Malachi Starks or Jalen.
Everybody's on the market.
Walker,
they don't. That's a Jerry talk. Everybody's on the market.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen this year, Curtis. I don't think we'll get to the top 10 status. I just don't. But yeah, if something were to happen to Dak, I could possibly see it. But I just don't see top 10.
Yeah, I think around 13, 15, somewhere around there, 16.
You figure there's 12 teams to make the playoffs, right? Is it 12? Is it 6 in each side?
Isn't it 7 now? I thought it was like they added that 7th one because of no. Man, I am thrown off because I've been watching some other stuff where they had 2 teams with bye weeks, and we don't do that anymore.
You got 3 divisions, or you got 4 divisions and 2 wild cards, right?
Yeah, because one has a bye week on each one, so there has to be 6 other teams. So that's 7 teams make it.
Okay, so you're talking 14 teams make the playoffs.
And
so let's say you miss it at.
That means 18
let's say
teams
you go
don't.
9-8.
Yeah.
Let's say you go 8. Let's say you go 8-9. Okay, so then there's still going to be. You're probably looking anywhere from 15 to 20 is probably what you're looking at.
Well, that's what I'm saying right there. That's if you don't make it, it's probably because of that. Yeah.
What's up, CZ? But I would just say keep your head up. This is where I had us, everybody. Now, I had us winning this upcoming week. This game looks a lot harder than I originally thought. But let's play the game out. Again,
I feel better about this week as well. I didn't feel. Remember last week when we got that whole loss, I was like, "Well, it's not going to get any better this week." This week, I feel like it does get better. But again, that doesn't mean we're all sunshine and rainbows going in for the rest of the season.
Sunshine and rainbows. Yeah, we figure. Just look at it.
All I see is cheaper tickets for the game. Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, well, that's what Mark was saying. At the Falcons,
what's up, Lord
home
Nova?
Against the Eagles, home against the Texans. I know this is a big stretch, and I see a lot of Eagles, sweep. Okay, well, listen. All the good teams, we haven't won a home game. So the next time we play a home game, we're still going to be 0-3. So I expect the Eagles are that good. I expect them to go in and do what the Ravens did to us, do what the Lions did to us. But if you lose that game, then you're frauds because we're not a good team right now.
No, we're not.
We are teed up nice and high for the Eagles to come in and smoke us, and we'll be there to watch it. But make sure it happens because if not, then you guys aren't that team. All right? But at the Falcons, home against the Eagles, home against the Texans. Again, if you want to do anything, you need to win 2 out of 3 there. Sorry, because you're not going to Washington and winning. So now you're 2-2. Home against the Giants on Thanksgiving, you would think you would win. 3-2. Home against Cincinnati, 4-2. At the Panthers, 5-2. Home against the Bucks, 6-2. At the Eagles, it's an L, 6-3. Home against the Commanders. Who knows? Yeah. So there is still potential to get to that.
That's what I'm saying. I still see it. I still see it, the potential. But again, if you play like you played in those couple of weeks where your offense was shit, then no, you don't have a chance against anybody in this league.
We could lose all 3. We could lose the next 4 if we don't. If something doesn't change. Mm-hmm. That's all. So it could go a bunch of ways. Let's not act like it's set in stone.
You're very correct.
What's happening, because it's not set in stone. But we're gonna sit and we're gonna see and we're gonna call it down the middle. We're gonna keep it real. So, but any other than that, I have a live stream at 8. I don't know how long I'm gonna go, everybody. I'll go as long as I have people in there that's gonna hang out. Phil's got no air conditioner. He won't be over there. I don't blame him.
Holy shit, man. I have been trying to get it fixed since last week, and that has just been a whole thing. Yeah. So I have to go to work tomorrow. So I'll see everybody in a little bit over on my channel. But yeah, that's it. Keep your head up, everybody. This is no surprise for us. We kind of are upset how it's happened. Oh, I think it's way more than that, Curtis. But I can see.
I'm not really surprised.
No.
So, because I had us at 3 and 4.
Yep.
So, I mean.
So, everything's coming true. Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, Game Time, I appreciate you coming through. You have it on your channel. Then we'll be right back for a pre-game of the Atlanta game. I got to see. Was that a Sunday? Is that going to be a Sunday game?
1 o'clock, I believe.
1 o'clock. Okay, yeah, because we don't deserve no damn primetime games. I'm tired of this crap. So, until we play better football. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you coming through, talking your shit, talking anything, because guess what, man? It's going to get a little bit better, but again, don't get your hopes up. And man, I just need to see better play from these guys. I think this is the rest of the season. Kind of feels like it's going to be like a preseason thing where everybody's kind of showing what they can do and what they can bring to this future team. Because again, Curtis is right. Even if they do get into the playoffs and somehow, this is not a very cute team to go up against some powerhouses. Now, can we stay in it and actually do work? Yeah, we can do damage. We can beat anybody. We've seen these teams come in and
do some damage.
We've seen teams get in and do that, but we have not seen that in almost 30 years for the Cowboys. So, guys, I appreciate you coming through. Appreciate you guys talking trash and everything as well. But one thing I do appreciate you not forgetting to do is doing what?
Ring that bell.
Damn right, guys. You guys take care.
Hey, all right, good job, guys. Let's just not come in tomorrow. Let's just take a day.
Talking prime rib in bed. I'm using a blanket as a napkin. That's fancy. That's fancy.
Real fancy.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
Do you want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I think we handled that with dignity.
Free candy!